Luiz Araújo agreed to Atletico Mineiro's offer. We're going to bring you all the information right here. Look, there's always a lot going on, man. People keep asking me. As for a striker, there's no news from Flamengo about a striker. A lot of people are mentioning some names out there. Flamengo is still looking for a player with those characteristics. Caio, Jorge, Richarlison, and a few other names. They're not on the radar right now. Maybe one day they'll come up, but they're not on the radar at the moment. What information have we been bringing to you? I even talked yesterday with a major source from Flamengo's board who said, look, there's nothing new. Even until the middle of the year. That's the decision which I'm going to bring to you now in the video. Right away, I'll bring you this transfer market information. There's a lot for us to talk about here too. The audio from the video assistant referee, which we know ended up destroying the referee analysis team from GLOBOS Sporte, really took them down. It finished off Paulo Cesar Oliveira, I'm telling you. For a long time, he's been making a living defending referees, and on top of that, he only finds moments to attack Flamengo. We're going to talk about all of that. We're coming in just like that. Hey guys, red black greetings. This is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. If you're just arriving, I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below, turn on notifications, hit the bell, and leave a cool like on the video. We're here thanks to the official Mengao products, which you can get at the club's official stores and also here on the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. If there's no Flamengo store nearby or you want to join the community, you don't need to go to the store to buy and want to know which products are in stock. Many people visit stores looking for a specific product. I'll always encourage you to visit the official Flamengo store. It's a unique experience. If you don't have time and want the product you see here now, you want it immediately since many people visit the store. I'll try to find my size in that tracksuit, but sometimes you just can't. When I select the product here, it's because it has all the possibilities for you to have various sizes. I already choose the ones that aren't sold out, so you can already see the tracksuit here. 2026 jersey, all long sleeves. It's here on YouTube Shopping and you help Flamengo. When you buy products from YouTube Shopping, you help Flamengo. Because I only select official products. There are channels out there that I saw that are selecting everything related to Flamengo. Guys, be careful, okay? If you have a Flamengo channel, be careful. You're selecting counterfeit products. Here, Paparazzo Rubro Negro only selects on Shopee because Shopee, it is shoshu, shushu, shushu. My wife is laughing over there because I tried to say Shopee, shushu, shushu, because that's how calm he is. I can't laugh out loud since Otto is sleeping beside me. So guys, Shopee is the official sponsor of Flamengo, so they can only have official products. So I already select everything here for you, all right? And our other sponsors are there too, in the pinned comment, right? More Hair, the Aroto Caravan, all of them in the pinned comment. Well, let's go. I'm going to start here by talking about this issue of Flamengo possibly signing forwards. Well, I spoke with a source connected to the board who said the following: man, don't fall for these stories, these made-up news reports. There's nothing new at the moment. Flamengo isn't considering any forwards outside the profile that Felipe Luiz and the coaching staff want. There's the name Richarlison, for example, which we already talked about yesterday, that the board has backed off from and will probably not sign, especially because of the rejection he has from Flamengo fans. So Flamengo is looking for players who fit this profile. So, for example, a name that this source connected to the board told me about in case he wants to come to Brazil. If the West Ham team gets relegated, someone who could be back on the agenda is Tati Castellanos, okay? Tati Castellanos could be back on the agenda if West Ham gets relegated. But right now, there's nothing going on. And then Caio Jorge is a possibility, maybe towards the end of the year. Guys, so that's the whole transfer market situation, names that are coming up, right? And even with a certain level of responsibility, I'm not going to keep bringing up a bunch of names that we know aren't going to happen. So just so we don't end up hyping up a player who has even said he doesn't like Flamengo, right? There are a lot of players being considered who don't like Flamengo, who have already said they wouldn't like to play for Flamengo, who have already made terrible statements about Flamengo. So guys, look, just forget it, okay? So I asked, but come on then, isn't Flamengo going to sign a striker now? Maybe only in the middle of the year, maybe only at the end of the year? The answer was yes, okay? Flamengo should sign someone around the middle or the end of the year. That kind of player, a player who presses, who moves a lot, a profile a bit different from Pedro, okay? So I asked, didn't I? And what about, for example, now how is it? What do we do? Because Flamengo negotiated Juninho, Flamengo is now negotiating Alasia, and Flamengo will have fewer players, fewer finishers. And then he told me no. Felipe has already talked, even in the press conference, about using Paquetá as a number 9. So Paqueta played as a number 9 against Botafogo in the second half, and he used to play like that at Lyon, as Felipe Luiz said. And it won't be a problem for Paqueta either. When he was signed, Flamengo already knew, and Boto himself talked about signing a player who could play in 5 positions. So for me, Paqueta found his place in midfield. His first half was perfect, playing as a defensive midfielder, but he also plays well as a forward, as a number 9. So we could have Paqueta filling in during games when Pedro can't play. Pedro trained normally. He had his last training session this morning before traveling to Argentina. Soon, Flamengo will be heading to Argentina, where they'll face Lanús for the South American Recopa, and Pedro is expected to be confirmed for the match against the Argentine team. So, look, that's the news. There's nothing new regarding the striker. Jose Boto and Felipe are still evaluating the market, and right now, Flamengo is going to use the big signing they made for Lucas Paquetá. And then they'll recalculate their strategy and try to find the striker that Felipe wants so much. I'll say it again, Tati Castellanos, even though he went to West Ham. If West Ham gets relegated, actually, let me check the latest update. Let me get West Ham's current position to share with you. West Ham was doing really badly, even with the wins they had. Recently, West Ham's Premier League position, let me put it here, take a look. At this moment, West Ham is in the relegation zone ahead of Burnley and Wolverhampton, which is practically relegated. I even told you that João Gomes, Flamengo had him on their list of monitored players. But it's very unlikely that Flamengo would make an offer for him, especially because they know there are clubs in Europe paying much more. Also keeping an eye on Wolves getting relegated. So Wolves, Burnley, West Ham, and Nottingham Forest are there with... Look at that. Already deep in the relegation zone, Tottenham is the first team outside the relegation zone. Just so you have an idea, okay? So we see the teams there. Let me pull up the full standings here. So, first, outside the relegation zone is Tottenham. And actually, it's 3 teams that get relegated there, right? It's 3 teams that get relegated, so West Ham is the first one, okay? Just so you know, West Ham has 24 points. Wolverhampton is already relegated with 9. Burnley with 18, I also believe, is already relegated. West Ham is going to fight with Nottingham Forest, who has 27 and already played 1 more game. They don't have the same number of games. Everyone has the same number of games. So look at this. Nottingham Forest has 1 more win and 3 more points than them. Man, that's the situation. West Ham needs to get ahead of Nottingham Forest, and Tottenham is there with 29, 5 points more than West Ham. Then Leeds already has 30. That's already 6 more points, man. It's going to be a fight for West Ham to avoid relegation, and if they can't escape, Flamengo will consider it. Okay, because do you guys know that the players' salaries are cut in half when they get relegated from the Premier League? And then Flamengo might try to make a new move for Tati, a monetized loan, or even sign him outright. Since West Ham will need to cut costs, right, man? So Flamengo could try to sign Tati again. Castellanos, who ended up going to West Ham, and Flamengo signed Paquetá from West Ham. Things that happen in football. Look, just bringing this to you guys, the Minas Gerais press says in some articles that Luiz Araújo would accept the offer. He can't say he accepted it because the deal hasn't been closed, but he would accept the financial offer made by Atlético Mineiro, that he would accept the terms and everything else. and that if Flamengo wanted to sell, the deal would be done, it would be closed, but BAP put his foot down and said he won't sell Luiz Araújo, okay. The order from President BAP, according to Raiza Simplicio, is not to negotiate Luiz Araújo, especially with direct rivals in Brazilian football, okay? Atletico offered 7 million euros, according to the journalist, 5 fixed and 2 in bonuses, but Flamengo promptly refused Atletico. She also insists, along with the Minas Gerais press, who also reported this, that they are not giving up on Luiz Araújo. The player's staff indicated that he would like to have a bigger role, which attracted the interest. The Minas Gerais club and the player had already accepted the terms of Atlético Mineiro's offer, but BAP vetoed it. It's right to talk now about Flamengo's preparation to face Lanús in the Recopa Sudamericana, the Recopa final. The first match is in Argentina, and next week the decisive game will be at Maracanã. An international title is on the line for Flamengo, which could win its second Recopa. Flamengo currently has just one Recopa, right? Flamengo, Palmeiras. There are many clubs that only have one Recopa, Recopa Fluminense. A lot of clubs have just one Recopa. Flamengo would surpass all these clubs and join the select group of teams with 2 Recopas, okay? Look at Pedro's situation that I was telling you about. The striker reported pain in his adductor during the game against Botafogo and didn't go on the field. The imaging tests done the day after the game didn't show any injury. That's very important, indicating just some discomfort. Flamengo trained with the group as usual. As mentioned earlier, he should be on the roster for the game against Lanús. Right back Varela has recovered from an ankle problem, trained normally, and is available to coach Felipe Luiz de la Cruz. The midfielder, who is usually rested on synthetic fields, is once again an option for the match in Argentina. Is that right then? Jorginho remains out due to a thigh injury and will hardly even play in the return match against Lanús at Maracanã, okay? So, are these important updates? So we also have Raiza giving her opinion about this issue of Lucas Paquetá playing as a forward, right? You know that I really like talking to her. On the Placa show today at 1 in the afternoon, Placa Aberto, and we always participate together, me and her, right, making these comments. I really like her comments. I like to give my opinion on top of her comments because she's a professional I really admire, a great person too, who understands a lot about soccer. She said the following: she disagreed with this improvisation, arguing that it limits the player's soccer, although she considers him a better pivot option than Bruno Henrique. So, Raiza, that's why she thinks this improvisation with Paquetá isn't a good idea, because it limits the player's soccer. But she still thinks Paquetá playing improvised is better than Bruno Henrique. So, what do you guys think? I agree with her. Bruno Henrique has to play on the left. I saw Gabriel Orfon there yesterday participating in the column, saying that they have to put him in now against Madureira in both games. 180 minutes, put Samuel Lino in so he can get into rhythm, so he can do well, okay, but now it's the Recopa match. It has to be Bolinha, but if not, use Bruno Henrique on the left. It's not about him being a striker, just him playing left. And Samuel Lino should take advantage of the games against Madureira to see if he gets going. Okay, that's my opinion, all right? So, she also mentioned here the issue with Gonzalo Plata, who was the target of criticism for having scored only 5 goals in 63 games. In 2025, that's a lower number than defender Leo Pereira, who scored 6 goals in the same period. She argues that despite his defensive commitment, Plata's offensive level is insufficient for the club's investment. I agree with her, and I'll add more. Luiz Araújo has much better numbers even without playing in every match. Luiz Araújo doesn't get the affection from Felipe Luiz, right? Felipe Luiz doesn't show Luiz Araújo any affection. It's very rare for Luiz Araújo to start the game. He's been playing very little, was just on television, and is very discouraged at Flamengo, but when he does play, he shows his abilities. That's what I wanted to say. Plata still deserves to be ahead of Luiz Araújo? Never. Luiz Araújo has much better numbers. I can't understand this choice by Felipe Luiz, and I'll tell you, as long as Felipe Luiz insists on Plata and Samuel Lino, I'm going to keep criticizing, and Raiza has also criticized this a lot. We also have some other information to share with you. Look at Flamengo's interest, including in renewing Everton Cebolinha's contract. The player has reportedly already accepted the terms for a 2-year contract extension, extending his deal until the end of 2028. So, the information we received here I set aside to share with you is that our source connected to the board said that Everton Cebolinha has already accepted. We can't say for sure that it's renewed until he signs, but he has already accepted the terms for the contract renewal with Flamengo. Angelo Furtado had also brought this information that he would accept extending his contract until the end of 2028. This is new information. His contract ends now in 2026 and he will stay at least 2 more years at Flamengo. The new contract will include a salary increase, making him one of the top earners at Flamengo. He will receive a high salary at Flamengo. And currently, Felipe Luiz sees him as the absolute starter on the left wing, ahead of Bruno Henrique and Samuel Lino. But that's not what we see on the field. This source connected to the board didn't say that in Felipe Luiz's mind. In Felipe Luiz's mind, he's ahead. He's the first option. I don't see that. We want to see that, but we don't see that. So we also have this issue to talk to you about. A lot of transfer market news. Alassian, after the negotiations with Red Bull Bragantino didn't move forward. Major League Soccer clubs have shown interest in Flamengo's striker. Flamengo maintains its stance of making it difficult for him to leave for any price. Flamengo will only negotiate Alassian for what it considers a fair value, and Flamengo would still keep part of Alassian's rights. If Red Bull Bragantino signed him and the amount was 10 million euros, the deal had moved forward again, according to GLOBO Esporte, but once again it's stalled. So it's become a soap opera. This departure of Alassian, it's become a soap opera. Flamengo is really expected to negotiate the player. That's why Flamengo is in the market evaluating names for the attack. But calmly, I've already told you that Flamengo won't sign a player outside the profile that the coaching staff has already selected. We also have information here to share with you about the video assistant referee issue. It turned out that the referee center was destroyed. The guys were saying it was a foul. Juca Kfouri. A bunch of journalists attacking Flamengo, saying Flamengo qualified with an irregular goal. Don't talk nonsense. Learn first, learn first. In fact, video assistant referee destroyed this anti-Flamengo crowd. That's the reality. Look, we had the video assistant referee audio here. Let's listen to the video assistant referee audio. Here, let's go.
Nothing happened. Let's go. Nothing slipped past you with the ball, and then the guy can't stop, right? No.
Nothing slipped past you with the ball. The ball goes under the Botafogo player. He loses it. The ball slipped away from him. There. The Flamengo player is coming and stops to avoid committing a foul, and the Botafogo player is already bending over. Falling, he falls, he lost the ball, he had no chance anymore, there was nothing wrong in the play, it was perfect. Let's listen to the whistle again. Talking or not, you let the ball slip away. Come on.
Nothing happened. Let's go. You didn't lose the ball. And then the guy can't stop, right?
Great, so the guy can't stop, but it wasn't a foul.
See that the player was in front there. He lost the ball, then collided.
He lost the ball, and then there was a collision. There's no foul at all, okay? It's a shame what this anti-Flamengo crowd is doing, man. These journalists, to me, they're not journalists at all. All outdated, they just live to incite hatred against Flamengo.
Go on, don't put it there. You stopped putting it. Is it possible that I'll miss this? Come on. Okay, yeah.
Go on.
Go ahead. It's a contact with a case, but there isn't.
Contact with the arm, but there's no use of force there, okay? That's exactly what I said on the scoreboard, arm contact, because, that's actually what he does. He puts his hand on the back of the Botafogo player to avoid committing a foul and to keep the guy from falling. It's like the guy moves back and it's like, look, it wasn't a push. It was just like, hey, I'm here. Perfect, man. Perfect. And when I get to a certain age, and look, I'm the kind of guy who loves this stuff. There are several journalists, for example, older ones, who do a fantastic job, but there are some who are extremely outdated and who use their hatred for Flamengo to still try to get some engagement. but they have nothing else. They don't understand anything about soccer anymore. They only live off the negative engagement about Flamengo. When I get to a point where I realize I can't do it anymore, I'll really stop. I'll stop because it's not possible, right? But we know it's all hatred towards Flamengo. Let's wrap it up here. Look and go.
And let's go. Only Flamengo players. The spot is all set up. There's a pass, and then you can move on. We're watching Flamengo, and what's coming next?
Nothing. It's not going to affect anyone. Saying that Botafogo.
The little cheat sheet talks to him, but the goal is confirmed.
The goal is confirmed. No whining, no whining. Go cry in bed, little eliminated one. That's it.
Legal condition. Okay.
Yeah, see, so what we're going to do is cry in bed. Go ahead. Go enjoy that the bed is warm. Go cry. Little eliminated one, okay? Because...
Mommy, 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 I want mommy, I want mommy, I want a nurse. Give the pacifier, give the pacifier, give the pacifier to
Foguinho so he won't cry. Thanks, everyone. We're together. Big hug. Greetings. Joy. This is Flamengo. I'm out.